I, 34 female, have a young brother, Tom, 30, who is co-parenting my 4-year-old nephew, TJ, with his ex, Amanda, 30. Since middle school, she and my brother had known each other and dated on and off in high school. It wasn't until after college that they decided to get serious and moved in together. They were even engaged and would have gotten married if Amanda hadn't found out she was pregnant. Unfortunately, the dream dress that she wanted to wear was not made for a pregnant woman's body, and she opted to wait until their son was born for the actual wedding. Everything seemed to be going great until Tom decided to toss a grenade into the relationship by asking for a paternity test before signing the birth certificate. He admitted that he had no proof, nor did he suspect Amanda of cheating and believed their son was his, but wanted to be 100%. Obviously, Amanda didn't take too kindly to what was implied and moved out while Tom was still away at work. A few days later, he got the ring back through the mail along with the court summons for child support, which included the DNA test he initially wanted. Tom was the father, and while there are people on both sides trying to push for reconciliation, Amanda wasn't interested. She was mostly civil about everything, but refused to engage with Tom about anything directly involving their son. To me, she didn't seem angry, just cold, like she could put on this convincing mask of warmth and joy with Tom whenever TJ was around, but the second he wasn't, she would go, "Please don't touch me." Tom has always been hurt over how Amanda responded to his request and felt that she failed TJ by walking away instead of just staying in the relationship. I mostly just bit my tongue, but Tom has gotten worse now that Amanda has dating again. One day he was ranting about how it was too soon for Amanda to be dating. I responded by bringing up how Tom has had at least 2 girlfriends since his relationship with Amanda ended. Tom defended himself, saying that what he did was different, as he was just dating to have fun and scratch an itch, while Amanda was looking to marry. Eventually, I got fed up with his attitude. I told him that the only reason he's in this situation is because of the choice to question paternity. Tom said that as a man, he had every right to know if TJ was his. I countered with Amanda having every right to leave him or not. No honest woman should have to be treated as if they'd done something wrong, and that I would have done the exact same thing if a man ever dared to try something like that to me. Since then, my parents and a few of Tom's friends have said I was in the wrong, as my brother was looking for a sympathetic ear rather than being kicked while he was down. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Amanda dodged a bullet, and I hope she finds happiness. Like, how exactly did he think it was going to go down? Especially when he admitted that he believed his kid 100% was his? Asking for a paternity test that you didn't even think you actually needed is just so insulting. Not the idiot. Tom is an idiot for even suggesting that his fiancée was unfaithful. She was good to leave him. Good for her to find someone she's happy with. He's an idiot for claiming he gets to date to scratch an itch, but she shouldn't be allowed to move on with her life. What sort of backward logic is that? Good for you for telling your brother it was the wrong move to pull, and he only brought his misery on himself. It's the narcissistic logic. If he dates, it's good to scratch an itch. If she dates, it's to be petty against him, of course. Honestly, I think it's because deep down, Tim still wants to be with Amanda. He has another girlfriend right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped her the moment he thought he had a chance at reconciliation with Amanda. I think Amanda has very strong convictions. I think his implication that the baby may not have been his hurt her very deeply. He showed her that he had no trust for her, and relationships without trust rarely work. Anyway, she waited 4 years. Gosh, did he expect her to be so lonely she'd crawl back one day? You are the idiot. Men, regardless of having proof or not, should have every right to a paternity test. And to take offense when women commonly do shady stuff regarding paternity is laughable. You spend enough time on the internet to know women go years without exposing their lies, and some husbands eat it up until they find out heartbreakingly that the child they raised is not theirs. So men get put on the hook for signing a birth certificate, and boom, turns out it's not his, and he's now financially responsible for raising a kid. Paternity tests should be mandatory. Stop with the stigma that asking is a bad thing. They have a right to know. I'm 60 female, and here's the important background. My daughter-in-law, 32, and my son, 33, have 3 children, 2 toddlers and a baby. He convinced her to be a stay-at-home mom and sell her business by telling her how good his childhood was and how happy my marriage was. But he never told her, which I found out today, that our arrangement was childcare and house chores till 9 a.m. and after 5 p.m. was split 50-50. Sunday was my day off, and I was brought out twice a week. On to the story. On my last visit, I noticed my daughter-in-law was struggling mentally. So for her birthday last weekend, my sister, 55, and her girlfriend, 53, and I pooled our money and paid for a spa weekend for them, and we'd babysit the kids. I was preparing on Thursday evening for the kids to arrive when my daughter-in-law rang me, holding back tears, saying they won't be going because my son's friend came to town and he said he wanted to spend the weekend with his friend catching up. I pressed her a little, and I'm talking a little about her situation. She came clean about him doing no chores, no date nights, and her basically doing all of the childcare because that's what stay-at-home moms do. I was honestly disgusted. I convinced her to drop off the kids at my house and bring a friend to the spa. I even dipped into my savings to give her 500 euros to buy herself something nice. When she dropped off the kids, I begged her to tell me where son was. After 5 minutes, she told me at the bar. She left for the spa, while I left for the bar. She knew I was going there and knew my sister and my sister-in-law were taking care of the kids. Here's where I might be the idiot. I went to the bar where he and his friends were. I sat down next to the group and asked my son, "Did I fail you as a mother? Or was it your father because we both thought your partner comes before your silly drinking friends?" I went full-on Karen in a bar, and long story short, I humiliated him and got myself banned from a bar. My daughter-in-law said she'll be taking the kids to her parents when she gets back tomorrow, and my son is calling me an idiot for humiliating him and sticking my nose in his marriage. Maybe I should have stayed out. I don't know. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your son dared to cancel a spa trip you paid for so he could go drink with his friends? How dare he? Any good mom tells her kids off when disrespecting their partner, especially when they are a lazy do-nothing. Your daughter-in-law is doing everything for that family, and she definitely didn't deserve the humiliation of her husband dictating she can't go out because he wants to. Not the idiot, but your son is. He convinced her to become a stay-at-home mom so he could avoid being a dad? It sounds like your misogynistic son needed some humiliation and to have someone stick their nose into his marriage. It's not like you are a stranger. You are his mother. Also, this is not a small thing. This is your son treating his wife like a servant, not a spouse. I'm so relieved for daughter-in-law. Having mother-in-law react like this probably really helped give her the strength she needed to get out. OP, you really did right by her and by your grandkids. And long-term, by your son as well. He needed a wake-up call. 3 babies and all the chores? He's nuts. No, he's not nuts. He's misogynistic and an idiot. He isn't some dumb fool who just didn't realize his wife was working hard and needed help. He didn't want to do the hard or degrading work required to keep a house and raise children. He thought that he was above it, that stay-at-home wife equal house slave, and he would be exempt from any work outside of his paid job and maybe a few manly chores like lawn care. He decided that the home would be her workplace, and as such, she was never off duty. He knows exactly what is up and is enjoying and exploiting such a division of labor. I hope for daughter-in-law's sake, they get a divorce. Edit. I just wanted to say I'm heartbroken, not by any judgment towards me or my parenting skills, but by the fact many people are shocked I care about my daughter-in-law's mental health and stood up for her against my son's bad behavior. As a mother, I just want to say that my advice is treat your daughter, son, non-binary in-laws how you'd like your children to be treated. Respect goes a long way. Our dishwasher broke in November of last year. Rather than replacing it, my husband requested that we hand wash the dishes. Now, I really don't like doing dishes. We have 2 boys in their early teens who ran through many of them, so I wasn't really digging this. But he said that he finds hand washing therapeutic, that he would really like to do this, and said this would be his designated chore. I'm usually the one that cleans the rest of the house, so I agreed. He was excited. We looked high and low for the best dish drying rack, and he was set to go. It started off fine with them being done consistently every night after I cooked. Then it was every other night or every third night. Then I started having to do the dishes because they weren't getting done. He would hear the garbage disposal and run in, insisting that he finish them and I didn't have to do it. Kids didn't meet his standards, so they don't do them. It's been about once or twice a week since March that they're washed. I've asked to replace the dishwasher numerous times, and each time he says he doesn't want one. I'm not thrilled, but I just don't figure this is his thing. And at some point, the novelty will wear off, and he will realize this isn't ideal for us. This week, our faucet went out, and the water pressure is at 0. There's a sink full of dishes from Monday. All week he says he will handle it, but hasn't. The replacement part was supposed to be here today, but it didn't come as expected. So I started to load all of the dishes up to do them in the laundry room. He comes in insisting he does them, and we get into an argument. I tell him I wouldn't be stressed if we just had a dishwasher. He says that I'm not respecting his boundaries regarding not buying one, and that it's rude that I won't compromise and just be on board with hand washing. It's my way or the highway. Suppose I suddenly decided I didn't want a dryer because line drying is my favorite chore. Would I have a right to insist everyone be okay with it if the laundry was piling up? Do I have a right to put unnecessary work on others just because it's my preference? Especially if I insist on taking over when they do them. I asked him this, and he just stared for a minute, then quietly said we can get a dishwasher. I thought I was right, but maybe I'm not actually being reasonable, and I should just happily wash the dishes when he lets me. We don't fight often. Money for the dishwasher isn't an issue. I feel like this is beyond silly. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Nice try sniveling about boundaries. He's violating your boundaries by leaving gross messes for days on end. Also, this is baffling. I have a dishwasher and I still wash some dishes. So what's stopping you guys from having a dishwasher and him washing dishes too if he loves it so much? You'd use the dishwasher less, but wouldn't have the dishes piling up. Not the idiot. The deal was that if you didn't replace the dishwasher, he would do the dishes. Unfortunately, he's not holding up his end of the bargain. And yes, we love a compromise that consists of you just accepting everything he wants and him not having to do anything. Good God, why do you need permission? Call a plumber, buy a new dishwasher, and be done. Nothing stops him from hand washing the dishes when he feels like he needs a moment of zen. He can even pull them out of the dishwasher and wash them if he's really feeling it. But for the other 28 days of the month, you can use a dishwasher. Not the idiot. Time to hide some disposable dishes, paper plates for yourself and the kids, and wait him out. He'll start doing them once he doesn't have anything to eat off of or cook with. Had to do the same thing with my husband, only over laundry. He hates when I collect laundry from his side of the bed because it's not that dirty. So I stopped doing his laundry altogether. Once he ran out of clean underwear, and I told him I wasn't going to do his laundry till I was certain they were good and dirty, he stopped complaining and started putting them in a laundry basket. I, 25 female, work at a law firm. Just for context, I recently graduated, so I don't practice law, but I am basically the office receptionist, so I see every client that comes into the building. I also like wearing makeup, not to the point of being completely unrecognizable, but I do like to wear a full face. We recently had a meeting to discuss the office's dress code, since some of my coworkers are having issues adapting to the in-person modality. At the end, my boss asked if someone had any other concerns. My coworker, 45 male, let's call him Mario, said something along the lines of, I think makeup should be banned. People like OP look like a whole different person without it, and that misleads the client. Of course, I was shocked when he said that, and I could see that many of my coworkers were too, since the comment was so unwarranted. So I told him, well, if I'm not allowed to wear makeup, then you shouldn't be allowed to keep your beard, given that you go from a grown man to a 12-year-old boy when you shave. He turned really red and tried to say something, but my boss did not let him. I thought that was the end of the situation, but I found out that some of the other employees are making fun of him using my comment. I now feel really bad for what I said. I told my family, and most of them agreed that what I said was more hurtful than what he said, but he shouldn't have named me and tried to make an example out of me. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. What he's really saying is, I personally don't like too much makeup, and what if a client wants to know how attractive OP really is? In case they want to ask her out. Or, in case I want to ask her out. You called him out in virtually the same way he called attention to you. If other employees are going to tease him, he will have to figure out how to deal with it like a grown-up adult. So he's allowed to make comments about how you choose to present your face, but no one should make comments about how he presents his face? So if he gets to point the finger at you, you do too. If he can't be professional enough to keep his hate for makeup to himself, it's not only the shaven face that makes him look like a kid. Why is your comment more hurtful than his comment? What on earth is misleading the client? You're not a model, you're a law professional. Clients are not coming in for what you look like, but for the skills and expertise you bring to the table. You are the idiot. It's your first year at a company. I kind of feel like you should be a bit more respectful. And a beard is not the same as makeup. You should have been the bigger person here and resolved the situation in a better way though. Unfortunately, you do still have to work with this guy if you plan on staying with the firm. If I were you, I would apologize and explain what was wrong with his comment to resolve the situation. Tonight, my husband, 30, and I, female, 28, decided to get Chinese food, drink some hard lemonade, and watch our show on the DVR. I was excited because I love simple nights like that. Then while watching the show, he gets a call from his brother. I've expressed to him before that I want him to finish the show with me before talking to people on the phone because I don't like our time together interrupted. He said that he understood. However, today he took the call. He left me alone in the living room while speaking to his brother for about 10 minutes about his day and family drama. This annoyed me, and when he got back, I told him. He apologized and said I shouldn't be upset because he's back now. This got me upset even more, so I got up and left. He was confused as to why I was upset. I'm disappointed because I love spending quality time with my husband. I get that he cares a lot about his family, which I love about him, but I feel like he chooses them over me, the person he chose at times, and it hurts my feelings. I just want to make sure that I'm not being hypersensitive or mean. For an emergency, I would 100% understand. Those are warranted to interrupt prior plans. This is also something that constantly happens when we have date nights, both going out and at home. I understand family is important, but phone calls constantly interrupt that time. I did express that I was upset and why I was, and he told me not to be upset. I walked away because he did not understand why I was upset. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You communicated something, he agreed. He broke the agreement and gave what sounds like an insincere apology. Then you took a break from the situation. If there's one thing you could have done differently, it's to have said something before walking out instead of the silent treatment. But there are like 4 things he could have done differently. A 10-minute call is short, but likely not a real emergency then, either. I'm really sorry, but he knows what he's doing by this point. So unless he's a total dud in the brain department, he fully understands. The question shouldn't be why doesn't he understand, but why are your wishes always placed behind his? His desire to talk to his brother outweighed his desire to keep his promise to you. Not the idiot, but please ask him why that is. His answer will say a lot, especially if he deflects again. And then you can decide if the relationship good balances out the building resentment you will feel. Good luck.